Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
Well, hello and welcome to the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and this is episode 9 of Overcoming Cancer and Other Obstacles. And if you haven't heard any of these so far, I would recommend going back to the beginning so you can hear all of the little details, and sometimes I make references to things that I've talked about before. So anyways, in October 15th, I was diagnosed with the squamous cell carcinoma. And what I'm doing here is detailing my journey to victory. And that way, once I have overcome this, people will know how the heck it happened. And hopefully some of the things that I'm talking about will show you that you can do it too. Today, we're going to talk about some of the obstacles. I'm going to call this episode The Elephant in the Room. And, we live in a world, we've always lived in a world where people that have means have access to long lives, good food, and health care, treatments and whatnot. And people without means generally don't live as long, and they don't have the same access. And in places that have, universal health care, maybe it's a little more even, but you wait for months and months and months to get anything done. And I think generally what happens is the whole bar lowers for everybody. It's more fair, I guess, on some level if you're on the lower side of things, but it doesn't help really anybody that well. Nobody that I know that lives in Canada or Europe or any place is like, oh yeah, the healthcare is so wonderful, we just get taken care of. And so things are what they are. You got to deal with it. And so I'm here in California, and we have a plan. I guess it's under the Obamacare thing, and it's called Covered California. And basically, it subsidizes the healthcare. And when I originally got started going after this lump, we signed up. I went to a doctor, paid cash for it, and he said, "Hey, you better get yourself some insurance because this is going to have some cost involved, and it's going to get expensive." And I said, all right. So we went, looked into it, and we got onto a program that has a fairly high deductible, and costs about $500 a month. And if you're self-employed and business isn't doing great, that can be a big chunk of money, but certainly nothing like the bills that can come after that. And so for almost a year, we pay this, and I'd gone through some of the earlier appointments, whatnot, only to find out after about a year that none of this stuff was getting paid for, because somehow the insurance company had my birth date wrong. And I had gotten some tests done, and they couldn't find my insurance, and I had to pay, I don't know, so it wasn't a lot. It was like $400 for one of the tests that I got done. And then finally we figured it out, because I couldn't get an appointment to the specialist. So the initial doctor kept seeing me, and I guess he must have resubmitted or whatever once we got it figured out, because he accepted. I paid a co-payment of like $60. But just remember, if you're living where every dollar counts, and in today's economy, like I said, unless you got extra expendable income, or you don't need to earn your friggin' money, every bit counts. You get a tank of gas, that's $50-$60 or more. You go grocery shopping, it's several $100. Everything, everywhere you turn around, there's these expenses coming in, and then all of a sudden now you got these doctor bills on top of it all. And of course you say to yourself, well, I got to do everything I can. My health is the most important thing. Sorry about that. I was interrupted by a little yappy dog. So, anyways, they got the they got the birth date figured out, and all of a sudden now insurance is working. So then you go to see the specialist. Well, still you got a copay every time you turn around. It's $150, $300, whatever it is. But what are you going to do? You got to get this stuff taken care of. There's no other answer. If you don't take care of it, it's not going to get better. You can go and say, well, I'm just going to go after alternative treatments. Well, I did that for a year and it got me nowhere. Maybe it got me somewhere. That's not true. I don't know the answer. I don't know what it would have been like if I didn't do any alternative treatments. I might be dead by now. Who knows? But the answer is, in order for me to go and do everything I want to do, which is everything that can be done, I got to have the resources to do it. And then the other side of it is when you're self-employed or not, even if you're working for somebody, every single time you got a doctor's appointment, you got to not work. Every time you got to go get a test, you got to not work. And then they'd say, well, you can't do these things. You can't work before I'm doing a PET scan here tomorrow or Monday. And they say, well, for 24 hours before this, you're supposed to not do any exercise and you're supposed to not eat this and do all these things to prepare for it. Well, guess what? If you're working, that affects you. All these things. And people think, oh, well, just go get it done. I can't tell you how many people will get that thing cut out of you. Yeah, sure. You figure that one out. How do you just do that? And so then we go through and like I just got a bill for a test that got done in October for $1,000. And I don't know if the insurance is covering it or not. I thought they did. I thought it was done, but then they send you a bill. And that's the other part of it is you don't know. There isn't like a direct way to find out, did this get paid for? Is this getting paid for? I can remember my dad, a surgeon, complaining about the insurance payouts, 40 years ago. And I didn't know really what he was talking about, but he's like, I can't get paid. The insurance, they say they're going to pay something and then they don't pay it. So from either side of it, I suppose it's messed up. I don't know what the answer is. I just know that if you don't have extra cash in your hand, be prepared for a serious hardship outside of the illness that you're dealing with. It doesn't have to be cancer. It could be anything that requires treatments. And then the other part of it is, are they even going to approve it? The insurance doesn't necessarily have to approve everything. So we just had this big old, luckily, the biopsy, I think, ended up costing me as a copay like $240. But then I get a thing from the doctor's office like they didn't get paid, and I don't know. I mean, it's like I pay the copay, but did the insurance pay the payment? We don't know the answer to all these things. So now I've got to somehow become an expert on insurance and jump into that whole arena just to figure it out. Otherwise, years and years ago, I was in real estate finance, and I can't tell you how many people had their credit ruined because of hospital bills, because of medical bills. And you don't realize it, but over time, if these things don't get paid, they just hit you with a collection. And then you get a judgment, and then you owe this money. And then your credit gets shot to shit. And, it affects your life negatively. And then you get more stress, and then it affects your health. It's all of these things are just this spiral, excuse me, somehow connected to money. And it's really effed up. But it's the way it is. And that's part of what I'm just having this conversation about. It's not to whine and complain, but to explain to you that if you're gonna, go after overcoming an obstacle like this, realize the challenges are real and you got to find your way through it. And so like this PET scan that I have coming up, we haven't even gotten into surgery. Like, surgeries can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And what's my copay going to be on that? I'm probably going to owe $10,000, $20,000 just to get this damn surgery done, not to mention whatever else they might want to do. And, where's that coming from? I have no idea. I'll probably have to borrow it. But even this PET scan I'm getting done, I just get a thing for, I just got a bill yesterday for $2,400 for a single scan, $2,400. And I think that's the total cost of it. And I think the insurance is covering it, and I will have some kind of a copay, but I don't know the answer. I got to walk into this place on Monday morning at 6:20 in the morning, prepared to pay this, because again, what are you going to do? Say, well, I'm not going to go forward. And meanwhile, I've got this giant lump on my neck that's starting to close my throat off. Well, no, I can't. I got to go forward, got to figure it out. And so just know that these things are real. And so, as I'm sharing my personal experience here, I had somebody that, heard about this, what I'm going through, and right off the bat, they jump onto social media and she's just like, oh, we need to do a GoFundMe. I'm not going to do any of that. I think that's pathetic. And maybe it's right for some people. But I'm never going to be the person that says, oh, I have a problem. Help me, help me. I have a business, and it has the ability to generate plenty of money. We make these amazing products, natural products that have helped many, 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 many people over the years. Um, People with cancer, and trust me, I'm using my own products as well. That doesn't even get into supplements. I've got side railed a little bit, but even all these different little treatments that I'm looking to do, I'm trying to get, I heard about a citric acid treatment. Oh, that's $3,000. I can't have that to do it. So even if there was a miracle answer, well, there's an ozone treatment I'm looking into. I don't know what that's going to cost. I'm sure it wouldn't be cheap. So even these alternative treatments that are out there, and we don't know if they're going to work or not. We know that people make claims that they've worked for them, and I tend to think it does. I'm very super blessed to have access to this Rife machine, so I'm using it every day, multiple times a day, in hopes that it will have the effect that I'm looking for. And once again, I'm still here. I'm I'm uh I'm plowing away. I'm healthy as hell besides this thing. So I know that the things that I'm doing are working, but once again, you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and that's why these scans and things like that are important. Oh, I got hit with another $1,000 for the blood work that I got done. So, everywhere you turn around, anytime they say got to go get some tests done, it's it's life-changing dollars that they're throwing at you. I've got a nonprofit that's helping a lot of people, and I don't know that there's a place for that to be involved with this. But I know that when people help that, it does help, because I subsidize the nonprofit with my time and resources and money. So, I have people that have offered, to help. And, I say to myself, well, what is that, a loan? I'm not looking for charity. And so it's like, I don't know the answer. I'm in a little bit of turmoil here because uh, I'm healthy enough to earn money. My business is, well, in 2 months, we'll be moved out of our commercial place, bringing everything back to home. Our overhead will be way down, and this will be a slightly different conversation, especially if business does pick up. But I am hoping, if you are aware of Willow Creek Springs, we make these great products, skincare products, holistic remedies, and hundreds of people across the country, even across the world, testify to the value of these products. They're amazing. They're natural. They're made with love and care, and if more people knew about them, I suppose we'd be doing just fine. I wouldn't really care about any of these costs. I'd just pay for them. So this is just something that I'm struggling with. So I'm sharing this struggle, and don't read anything else into it. I'm not asking anybody for anything in particular. Just letting you know, if you decide to take on a challenge like this, or if you have the ability to take on a challenge like this, and you've got resources, hunker down and be prepared to be wise with them, because you're probably going to need them for this. And if you've got some kind of a nest egg, or if you've got some investments or some kind of security, be prepared to tap it, because, I have no idea what's coming up, as far as, again, the costs and all of this stuff. And that's, remember, even taking the time off, even like to do this surgery when hopefully it happens soon, all the time that I'm going to be recovering from that, well, guess what you're not doing? You're not working, you're not earning, you're not, you're going backwards, not forwards. And then you have the angst and stress from that, and it's just a spiral. So I'm working on resolving all these things, building relationships, building this business, building awareness. And I'm hoping that anybody who hears this just realizes that you need to resolve, you need to build this resolve. On another note, yesterday I did my third combo session, and it was a very incredible experience, because the first two sessions I purged rather quickly, really hard, and this one, the medicine ran through me all over the place, and I didn't throw up. It was just traveling through me, and all this was this really strange and wild experience, very powerful. And I purged in some different ways, through tears and nose and different things. But it was, instead of removing, like I was told that because I strengthened myself and built my immune system, that my body was able to fight that off, the medicine, the poison that was put on me. And I think today, instead of this urge to get rid of things, which I still am on that mission, I have a deeper resolve to go forward and walk through this journey, and deepen my focus and deepen my mental strength, and remember all the things that are important. And this last week, I lost my temper and was a fool, and you got to remember to move in love and to be loving and caring, and both to myself and others. And so I think that message through all of this is really important, because it's sometimes the chaos of this and the struggle of this and the difficulty can help take you to a place that's not kind and loving. And if you're going to be alive, what's the point if you're not going to be kind and loving? And what are you doing here? So anyways, I had a little bit of a meandering message today. I apologize for that. But I thank you for your support, and I'm looking forward to the victory party here. So stay tuned. Hopefully it will be coming very soon. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health-minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show, please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com, or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right. Well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.